only blooming 10 o'clock, Jane. Where did that sneak up on us at?
We had all that time and then it just went poof.
Just like that.
It just goes. Boom.
Just like that. Good morning. Can't even find. Better turn the volume down before I suddenly realised I actually blend with the set this morning. And you are looking fabulous, Jane, this morning in your red and your World Wildlife Fund top. World Wildlife Fund Day, apparently.
Apparently.
We should have
Wildlife
saved
Day.
all the animal prints for today,
Yeah,
shouldn't we?
done.
Ah, if only we'd known. Morning, Pam. How are you? Who else we got? Ven. Good morning. Good morning. You should be getting all of your block of the months today. For those that haven't already received them, they should be wending their merry way to you. Ready to join in the fun. I've got my cup of tea. Have you got a drink? Have you had a drink?
I've got some
good.
water.
You've got a drink. Oh, yeah, you've got water. You're good. Right. We've got Susan, we've got Anne, and we've got Pam. Hello. Oh, my thought. Oh my, thought I had the wrong day. Stitchy Witchy Wednesday. It is Stitchy Witchy Wednesday. It's block of the month Stitchy Witchy Wednesday, which means we're Stitchy Witchy Witching that. There's a lot of Stitchy Witching going on
there.
A lot of that. Oh, your mum's here. Morning. Not here, but you're watching, you know.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, Mum. Leanne and Kaz, good morning, and Rona, hello. Block 4, woohoo. The long-awaited, the eagerly awaited Block 4. I know, I had another message from someone this morning going, I'm really confused. Are we doing Block 8 or Block 4? What? Where? At what? Block 4 today. It doesn't actually matter. I think we over confuse it. It doesn't matter what order you make them in, just so long as you make them. And it was only that Jane wrote them in a certain order, then the fabrics didn't come in that order. So that was the only reason that things got turned on their head a little bit. But you'll have them all. You'll be fine. Morning, Joe. Yay, I get to watch live today while I hand sew the binding on my Bargello quilt. Ooh, nice. Morning, Jane, Natasha, and everyone. Dull but dry and cold here in Wood. It's got a double W.
Oh.
How do you pronounce it? Double
Howard. No, that wouldn't be right, would it?
I don't know. Anna says, morning, ladies. Excited matchly for today's block.
Oh.
It's in shouty capitals. Matchly. Yes. Morning, Ellie B. Morning, Tash and Jane. Grandson-free day. I can fully enjoy my morning. You know, any morning that doesn't involve Peppa Pig and friends is a winner. Winner. Good morning, lovely Natasha and witchy clever Jane, says Laurie. Good morning to you, my love. Caroline's watching. Good morning. And Alison Fraser. Yes. How would you pronounce that?
How would, yes, of course.
Sorry. Morning, Dawn. Good morning. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Alison. Gosh, everyone's coming on board this morning. Hi, all. Calm down a bit from yesterday. Well, I'm glad to hear you have, Myra. Are you on your best behaviour today? Hope so. I don't know. Best behaviour is a bit overrated, isn't it? I like to source exciting things for you for Wednesdays that are basically quilt-based. Basically quilt-based? I don't know how many B's I can get in that sentence. I also like to show you Thursdays Half Meter Heavens so that you can get excited for those. They're worth getting excited about this week. They are fabulous. Because the last 2 weeks we cleared out the Liberty, what was left. And we only had like 1s and 2s of things, didn't we? We were very low stock, but we just... Even 1.5 meters of fabric on a bolt still takes up a bolt's worth of space.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just need to go, and they had to go because we had all of Lisa's stuff coming in. And yes... yeah, we've got a little bit of that as well. This is the latest stuff that's come in. It's been quite exciting because it's been drip fed to us, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Box by box from Lisa.
I think the delivery man thinks we're completely bonkers because when he arrives, we all squeal at him. I said to him the other day, I think you must be our favourite delivery driver. He says, not many people say that to me.
No, but he is. And he always wears his shorts.
He's a nice chap.
You know. So we'll take that. Right, for those, hello from Melbourne, says Jennifer. Well, hello to you. Fabulous. Well, these have come from not very far from Melbourne.
Oh, right.
Well, Victoria. I say, you see, as far as I'm concerned, Australia is just so far away from us. Okay, so you'll have to tell us, is Melbourne close to Victoria?
Don't think it is it?
But it's still Australia, which is much closer than here.
Yes.
So,
But
relatively
everywhere in
speaking,
Australia is quite a long way from
each other. Yeah, you have to hop on a little plane. Do you remember the flying doctors?
Yeah, it's like
love
flying
that.
doctors.
Do you know what else I love, Jane?
This fabric.
This is, oh yeah, go on then. You grab one end, I'll grab the other. This is Brandon's Brocade! Hooray! And you can get, well, it's 56 inches wide. We measured it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've got some that vary between 1.3 metres and 1.5 metres. That's what they vary between. They're up at $19.99 for you because I can't guarantee if you're going to get 1.3 or 1.5. It's just going to be
a lucky dip.
It is a lucky dip, which is why we've priced it at what we have, which is still an amazing deal for 1.3 metres of
make a great quilt back.
backing fabric.
Or
well, that's what it is.
Put it on the front because it's just gorgeous.
Put it on the front. Thank you, Jane. Put it on the front. Put it on the back. Put it wherever you like. But just get it and put it on. This is a Brandon Mabley for the K Facet Collective. And it is rather fabulous. So I always try and source anything like that for you, and then I can bring it to you at a cracking price. Cracking price, let me tell you, Jane. Cracking price. Yesterday I promised you Tulas. So your Tula pinks are 0.5 metres, 4.5 metres in purple, basically. We have got amethyst, opal, and tourmaline. And hexie. Ta-da! Oh, and this, it's not part of it. It's mine. Yeah. So you can get all of those four in a bundle, and Gemma's going to add those imminently if she hasn't already. But she's on a slight slow go this morning because she had a jab yesterday. So we're being gentle, aren't we, to Gemma today? Yeah. Let me show you this before further ado. This arrived yesterday. I'm not expecting, we only got one bolt of this.
Yeah,
we only got one bolt.
Long, I don't think.
Come on, Lisa, sort it out. We need a lot more of this in our lives.
It's just a bit gorgeous.
Yes. Oh, Myra, yeah, she said, Natasha, you've been holding something back from me. Lisa Cooks spent a night drooling over her recipes. Yeah, so Lisa Chandler, she's all-round superwoman. Like, she's an amazing artist. She's an incredible fabric designer. She's also incredible at designing the patterns that go with her fabrics. And then on top of that, she spent her first part of her career in food. She's the real deal.
Nice.
All round. I mean, she's the WI dream.
Yeah. Super.
Because she knows about her plants as well. She's got the lot. I mean, I don't know if she can sing Jerusalem. I haven't asked.
I bet she can.
She probably can. She's probably like a secret opera singer, something on the side. I don't know, I'll ask her. But anyway, this is available by the 0.5 metre. It is beyond divine. And yeah, I heart it very, very muchly. What also came in, which looks rather fabulous with it, let me tell you, is this green. So we've got the olive green, and then this is, what green did we say this one was?
Pear, I think.
This is pear.
Because we've got green as well.
We've got green,
3 shades of green.
We've got green, we've got olive, and we've got this one now, which is rather fabulous. And then this
That's
also...
the same pink. That's not a different pink, it's the same one.
I know, it's the dusky pink, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it just had to come out because...
It just goes beautifully with that.
I mean, yeah, right. Right. If you have already got some of Lisa's red fabrics, you might like to look at this. So this is your Hampton stripe in greens and reds. Beautiful. Beautiful.
It's just gorgeous. And
wouldn't the bag look different?
it would.
In that? It would take on a whole other look.
Is it called mallow flower or something?
Well, I mean, so that's the bag in the black and white stripe. But what about that with a nice... Oh, you could... Hang on. Oh, could you pass me that red?
That was the one I was thinking
Yeah, yeah, you know it, Jane.
That's so
Imagine doing,
lovely.
if you've got the Hampton bag pattern, imagine doing it in that. So you have that as your flap over and that. Equally gorgeous, would you not say? Oh, hang on, what
And
else have
there's
you
the
found?
red
Oh,
flower.
look out. Or you could do it in that. Ooh. Or you could line it in that.
Yeah. Or you could just use one of our plains.
Or-
Scarlet would look lovely with that.
Scarlet would look lovely with that. You are quite right, Jane. So these are your options. Nice.
Lovely.
Nice. Oh, we're spoiling you. And then this is the new colourway of that, which is rather fab.
It's a pretty colour.
It's really pretty, isn't it? Really, really, really pretty. So they are the new Lisa fabrics. And let me show you our... I'm going to whiz through these. Oh, there's lots of love for these. Those. I don't know about these yet. I haven't shown them yet. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Tony. Hello, Concetto. Hello, Caroline. Hello, Therese and Pamela and Trudy and Anne. Have we got the butterflies yet? Not yet. Not yet. She only sent me the samples yesterday. To be honest, if I'm going to be completely honest, Ali, I just let Lisa send me what she wants. Is that bad?
I think you just said to us, send me what you've got, didn't you?
I did say send me what you've got. I also said, you know what you've got, so send me what you've got.
Yeah.
And also, you...
I want it all, I think, with the words.
That too. I have never given that over that much. I must trust her, you know, because I've never gone to anyone, just send me what you've got, be fine.
Yeah, I'll have everything.
I'll have the lot and I'll just pay for it, be fine. I've never done that before. It's quite freeing / terrifying. But I trust her because she's going to send me beautiful patterns too. It's win-win. So, half metre heavens. Oh, yeah, let's do half metre heavens, then we'll do that, and then we'll get on to Jane. We're getting there. There is an order to these things if it gets a little lost. Jane, have you smelt this fabric?
It's gorgeous. It's delicious.
Smelt the fabric.
It's terrible
What
if
are
you've
you
given up
talking
chocolate
about?
for Easter.
Oh yeah, possibly the worst thing for you to be sniffing. This is the Lewis and Irene. Well, this is from their chocolatier range, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so it smells of chocolate, and that stays in for about 10 washes, I think. Something ridiculous.
Yeah, something crazy.
And it actually smells of chocolate, and we've put it with chocolate brown.
I think it's brunette.
Or is it brunette?
We like brunette better because it's more like milk chocolate. Whereas the chocolate's
Yes.
like dark chocolate.
Yeah, we don't want 80%. Lo would disagree, but then Lo and I are going to be okay sharing like a chocolate box because she'll have the dark ones and I'll have the milk, which is fine. So that is that. So if you want the scratch and sniff fabric, we've got that. So this was the fabric that only came in last week, but I didn't know if you would even think to look at the silver mink.
It's perfect
It's
with that.
Absolutely perfect. So this is your What's Her Chops, Riley Blake, not What's Her Chops. Bit of respect, Natasha, honestly. Riley Blake from the On Safari range, which only came in last week. And I just, if you grabbed yourself half a metre of black as well.
Oh yeah.
I know, right? Beautiful, beautiful.
Nice
But it's
bag.
half metre heaven, so it's only 2. Right, we have also got, if we're talking Lewis and Irene, heffalumps. Beautiful heffalumps. Ooh, with navy. In the navy. Navy.
Navy.
Navy.
Perfect.
Lovely. I would be all over that doing the bag that I made yesterday.
Yeah.
As a sophisticated one. Freddie
I
skipped off.
quite like your plant basket pot with that as well.
Oh, that would be rather lovely too, actually, wouldn't it? Freddie went skipping off to school today with his denim one that I made him with the skull and crossbones.
Love that.
Stephen's like, really? Skull and crossbones? Yep. So that's fine. It's fine. Denim, skull and crossbones is just trendy. This is a tiddly widdly bit of Tilda. I've only got a couple of these. Little spot of Tilda. Pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I have got a handful of these with hot tomato. I know, hot tomato, Jane.
It's perfect.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? Isn't it? And first time that we've ever had this one, I feel like it's Brandon Day today. But Brandon's Big Bang, it's not called that at all. It is just called Bang.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it Brandon's Big Bang.
It sounds better.
It does. I think the alliteration makes it.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that the fabric needs any help. But I rather love that. Again, those bags that we made yesterday.
Yeah.
That one in the middle. These two either side. Beautiful. Gorgeous. For those of you that want to faux quilt, yep.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, right?
Good for practicing on, actually, for your quilting.
Yeah,
Because
I think
the
so.
patchwork's already there, and so you can have fun playing with quilting patterns.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Of course you can. And they're really lovely earthy tones. This is by Julie Hendrickson. It's called Walnut Creek. Lovely, isn't it? We have got the last few of these, which are your geometric metallics from Lewis and Irene. And then I've got this. And look, so normally I go for this colour when I put this with something. Not today, Jane.
No.
I'd not noticed this pink. Kapow! Now you do. It brings out a warmth in it I didn't know was there.
Yeah, and it highlights the lilacs as well.
It's really beautiful.
It's clever.
So this is your Luscious. It is a Philip Jacobs design for the K Facet Collective. Let me get that right for you. There we go. Now this one is Sally Kelly's Fantasy with raspberry. And it's the wrong way. Can you have an upside down fantasy?
No.
I think you can. No. Oh, James says no, you
No,
can't.
you can't have an upside down fantasy.
Why not?
It's part of the fantasy of it.
Well, what if the fantasy is to be upside down?
Yeah, it's true.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
Someone's always had some weird idea somewhere. And this morning it's me. Now I heart this very much. In fact, I'm going to go Dove from Above for this one.
We're all liking this one.
Can we just appreciate the corsage from Anna Maria Horner with teal?
Beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it just beautiful? I've only got about 8 of those. That was it. That was all that came in. And then, your Salt Batik with. And Donna, this always makes me think. You see, growing up, my mum once said to my grandma that she liked walnut whips. So every week my grandma bought her walnut whips. Donna once asked me for butterfly fabric.
So every time you... Butterflies for Donna.
Butterflies for you, Donna. She's going to be so fed up with butterflies, isn't she, by the time I've finished? But you said you wanted butterflies. These have got snails on as well. I rather love the snails.
And dragonflies.
It's got all sorts of critters going on.
Lovely.
Who is this by? This is Juniper by Jessica Vanderberg. I thought it was rather fun.
It is. You could have fun fussy cutting that and with your EPP.
You could. And also, I think Emily would quite like a bib out of it. This was another fun one.
Yes.
I've never seen a fabric quite like this. It's Okeatex as well, which means that it's got no nasty chemicals in the dyes at all. That's what that bit means there. This is Lake House. This is from the Whistler Studio. I've put it with moss. Welly boots. Welly boots, everybody. They look like the posh ones though. They look like, oh, hang on. Helps if I actually switch it over, doesn't it? They look like Hunters, don't they?
They do.
Or the Argyle ones, which are super posh and far more expensive than Hunters now. You know, if we're going to be posh about boots. My beautiful Ariat boots have got holes in.
No.
I know. They generally, I can string them out about a year and a half, and then I get through wellies like you wouldn't believe. Yes. What can I say? I heart this muchly.
It's a bit gorgeous.
I've only got one of these. Look at it, look at it, look at it. I want to say it's Three Sisters. I would be correct. There we go, but I've only got one. It's called Quilt by Three Sisters from Moda. Look, you see, there's my little sticky thing so that I know what I'm talking about. And I have put it with khaki. Look at that.
Just right.
It was
Right colour
so
green.
tempting to go for pink, but actually, because it's not really pink, it's cross-hatched red over white that's made it pink.
Yeah.
So a pink wasn't right. It had to be the khaki. So whichever one of you gets that, you lucky devils. I'm a little bit. I was tempted to keep that for myself. Do you know what else I was tempted to keep? Because I only got one of these as well. Look at that. Needs
Got a
press.
rose theme going on a bit today.
This is antique rose. It's made in Japan. It's Lycian fabric.
Like Lycian.
We like Lycian. Sound like my daughter. I like Lycian, mummy.
I never know if it's Lycian or Lessian.
No idea. I say both, and then I'm only wrong half the time. I'm hedging my bets. Now, we have had this one before, and I've got two 2.5 meters of it less. This is Anna Maria Horner Dresden. We made the teapots out of this. Do you remember?
Oh yes.
So we did. Anyway, I've got two of them left. I don't know why I don't actually remember ordering them, but meter came in just on a little end of a bolt. Ooh, now this
I love
again.
The blue in that.
I was tempted to go with pink, but I was like, no, Natasha, don't go pink because look at the blues. And I found that exact blue. I was quite chuffed with myself. Who is this? This is Annie, and it's from the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation. Ooh, whatever that's all about. Anyway, I've put it with cyan, just so you know. These are all going to be live tonight at midnight. But again, I've got, haven't even written on there. I think I've only got like 4 or 5 of those, maybe even less. I've only got 4 of these. These are Tim Holtz letters from the correspondence range.
That's lovely.
It is lovely. And then I've put that with navy. My grandma, we have family in Australia, and my grandma always used to write to them. And do you remember when it used to be really, really light, thin paper?
Yeah.
So that you would airmail and it would go cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the blue and red stripes around the end.
Yeah. My grandmother was the only person that I knew that used to write to people abroad when I was little, so that's my only reference point for that growing up. I have got 4 more of the Kathy Doughty Fallen in Fuchsia, and I've put it with jade because when you look on the selvage, those little dots, those tiny little dots, are exactly that, Jane, exactly that.
Just pops them.
Does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there you are.
Just
Fancy
really
seeing
nice.
you there.
Yeah.
And then the final one to show you, which photographs so badly. I don't know what it is about this green. It does not photograph well. It comes out looking blue.
Yeah.
It always photographs looking blue. But this is one of your Moda poinsettias with the gold on there. This is, I want to say fur, bottle green. And again, I have only got, I haven't even said how many I've got. Barely a handful,
There's
1
not
or
many,
2.
is there, of that one?
Yeah. And that's it. That is tomorrow's selection of Half Meter Heavens. Good heavens. Why can I not get the right angle? There. Well, some people might say I got the right one. He wasn't looking at me. The other 2 things, and then I'm out your way. Batting. These are approximately 10 inches. And they are about 108 inches wide, aren't they?
Yeah, around about there. They're all a little bit different.
Everyone is a little bit different. Basically, the ends of the rolls, which means that we get them quite a lot of wadding for not a lot of money. And they're really, really handy for little craft projects that you just want. If you're making pouches or wallets or, bags or anything like that, and you just want a bit of stuffing in there, then this is your batting 80-20. Yeah. Those, I think they're $5.99. That's really for lengthwise. There's a lot cushion.
Stuff,
yeah, exactly. 10 inches there, cushion fronts. And if you want to make them into something bigger, then we've got a batting seam tape. This is from, who is this from? Bosel, I think. Anyway, you get 10 yards of it, and this you just fuse on so that that quilt down there, not the quilt, the cushion.
Yes.
I seam tape that.
Yeah.
It just means that all your little bits and bobs, because it mounts up, doesn't it? You've bought it, you've paid for it.
Yeah.
You can just fuse them all together, and then you have one great big thing. And then by the time that you've quilted through, it's all held together. It's great. So I've only got a handful of those. I've only got a handful of those, and I've only got a handful of those. But fill your boots. I am going to pop these to one side out of your way, Jane. And I'm going to stroke oh, you've done something pretty over here, haven't you?
Can you do it?
It's okay, engage core. It's fine. I've got a core in there somewhere. Oh, I tell you, pot plant, managed to kill it in a day. In a day, honestly, in a day. Well, I just put it on the side, I put it there. Dead. I deaded it. Right, I'm going. I'm going to hand you over to Jane. I'm going to go and sit in my big comfy new chair. What else do I need? Pile everything up.
As long as you've got your tea, you'll be
See,
all right.
yes, as long as I've got my cup of tea. It's my mum's cup, don't tell her. Shh. Shh.
Will she not be watching you?
Sometimes she just dips on to make sure that, you know, she says, I just like to make sure you're all right.
Yes.
Just like to see
she
you.
doesn't see you, does she?
I haven't seen her for a year.
I'm in the most enviable position that I'm in my mum's bubble and I see her nearly every day.
Yep.
I know how lucky I am.
And she you know. Oh, there you go. Elizabeth's still using airmail. She says, I'm not a granny though. I know you're not a granny. She says, I love writing letters. It's more personal. I love receiving a letter.
There's nothing nicer, is there?
Yeah, and my mum has just started writing letters to the kids.
Oh, they'll love that and they'll have them to treasure always.
Well, otherwise they don't ever get anything in the post.
No, because we don't do it anymore, do we?
We do not.
It's a shame.
We do not.
Nice.
Hi, Jane, says Mara.
Hello. Hi. Good morning.
Right. Oh, Daryl kills plants quickly as well. There you go. I'm in good.
Yeah, I'm not renowned for looking after houseplants particularly well. I'm all right with the cactus because it doesn't really need watering very much.
Yeah, but I've nearly killed those as well. Have you seen those? Yeah, I'm not. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, we digress. Well, I digress. You were on track.
Block 4. Do-do-do-do-do. Finally,
it's a beauty. Where's this going?
The fabric. It's here in the quarter marks of the quilt. There it is.
Oh, nice.
And here. I've lost it. There it is. There. I couldn't see it.
You have to go search for it, don't you?
Yeah, because the whole point of this quilt is it gives you a completely different. When they're put together, you get secondary things going on, which is quite nice, I think. I like a quilt that does that makes your eyes skip around.
It's beautiful.
It's lovely.
So you can buy the pattern just by itself, because April said, oh, that's a pretty block, and it's available as a download. So for you, Australian April, just for you, well, and others, to be fair. If you want to get it.
Because you might not want to be making the whole quilt. You might think, oh, I quite fancy making a quilt with this block. This is the whole point of the block of the month. Yes, we've created a quilt with these blocks, but these blocks are independent. They can be used. You could make a whole quilt with just that block.
Or just a cushion.
Or a cushion front, just to try the block, just to try the techniques.
In different colours?
Yeah. In any fabrics you liked. You could just use 2 fabrics. So you half metre heaven would make you a couple of 3 blocks maybe, if you just fancied having a go. We have got quarter square triangles. And we've got a square in the square. Now I call it square in a square. I know some people know it as the economy block. I don't know why it's called the economy block.
What now? Hang on. Which bit's the economy block?
This one, square within a square. This little one in the corner.
Oh. Maybe because it uses up your little scraps.
Could be, could be. Right, so let's get on with it, shall we? We have got, we'll start with the square in the square. This is the one where you might be like, when you read the instructions, you'll be like, 3 3/8. Is that a misprint? Does she mean 3.5? No, I don't. I mean 3 3/8. So when you're looking on your ruler, if you go to the 3.5 mark and then just come back 1/8 of a mark, we'll go on the close-up on that.
Go
we'll
on
just
then.
See it.
Go on then.
If I put the fabric behind, you can see 3 3/8. We've got 3 inches there, and then it's 1, 2, 3 little marks there. There's the 3.5 mark, and it's just 1 in. if we did it 3.5, it wouldn't fit into your blocks because we're working on a 12-inch block. All our units are 4-inch finished, 4.5 before you put the seams on. So you'll need 4 of that size square in your pea fabric, I'm saying. I think I'd know these fabrics by now.
Oh,
Yes, it's pea.
I still don't, Jane. If it's any consolation, they're just pretty.
They're just gorgeous fabrics. And we need 2 7/8 inch squares that we are then going to cut into half square triangles. Just through the diagonal. No marking, nothing like that. Just take your ruler and cut them in half through the diagonal, point to point, corner to corner. I'm doing them 2 at a time. You might want to do them, if you've got a nice sharp rotary blade on your rotary cutter, you could probably cut 4 at a time. You're going to need 8 squares for the block.
I've just bought more of the titanium blades.
Lovely. They last a bit longer, as long as you treat them nicely. Don't go trying to cut over pins or throw them on the floor.
Yeah, that's just never the best idea, is it?
Not really. It
If
doesn't
we're
do
honest.
anybody any good at the end of the day.
Absolutely not. I see
Certainly
Claire
not your
kills
pins.
plants regularly as well. The only green thing that survives is grass. Well, Elizabeth says, I'm astonished it's dead in a day. Put it outside. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how I killed it in a day.
Maybe it just didn't like it in here because it's quite warm in here.
It is quite warm in
Is
here.
that the one that's
true.
now in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave it water and everything.
It'll be fine. It'll come
We'll
back.
give it to Inga. She
Inga will
gardens.
revive
She'll
it.
sort it out.
Right, so we're going to fold the 3 3/8 square in half and just pinch it along the sides. And we're going to take the triangle and we're going to fold that in half.
Have you
And we're going to pinch that too.
the whatevers out of the triangles with your best press or your
Yeah, everything's
Starch
been
savvy.
starch savvied before
Heavily.
I started cutting it out.
heavily starched?
Because it always helps, particularly when you're working on a bias with your triangles. So we're pinching the square in half, we're pinching the triangle in half, and then those little pinch creases line up so that you make sure that your triangle is in the middle of your square when you come to seam it.
Nice.
Just help, just a little thing to make sure that you're in the middle.
Economy square. Jane, when you designed this, did you design this on the EQ Easy electronic quiltery
quilt
thing?
program? Yes, I did. I've got EQ7. I know that you've just recently been in possession of EQ8.
I have. So
I'm not envious at all.
Ovs. Yeah. So I've always been in awe of your ability to create these quilt designs. And I know that you don't do this all on electronic quilter because I've seen you sketch. I've seen
I
your
get ideas
sketchbook.
in my head and I sketch things out and then I go onto electric quilt. I love electric quilt. Be warned, if you get it, it eats your time.
That's
because you can do so many things. You can create a quilt and then there's buttons that you can click and you can change the colours, you can change the orientation of the block, you can take part of the quilt and make it into like a kaleidoscope so it creates something completely different. You can spend hours with one block in a quilt shape changing it round.
So guess what I did this morning?
Yes.
Pretty much all of that.
Yeah.
Although I don't know about this kaleidoscope business. I've got to learn it for a show on Ho Chanda tomorrow.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my morning's already gone.
Yes.
Just sat in front of a screen going, oh, I can make this pretty
just
colour.
So time absorbing. You'll never make the number of quilts that you can create. You can create quilts. It is one way. If you think, oh, I wonder what a quilt would look like if I used this block and I added that. It's a good way of doing it without actually making it.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, you'll design something and then you want to make it. And of course,
I've already done that. I've already wondered if I've got time to make the quilt before I do the show on Ho Chanda tomorrow. That's the situation.
And
I'm
the
in,
trouble
Jane.
is, you can't make it as quickly as you can design it.
What?
It's not possible.
Oh, come on.
But what it also does is, I mean, it's an American program, so it does give it you in yards. But it's great because it does everything in inches, which is how we work with patchwork and quilting.
Yeah.
But that's not the end of the world, because if it says you need half a yard, if you have half a metre, you're going to have enough. So
Yeah.
it works out the quantity that you need fabric-wise for your quilt, which
It's very clever.
is a real bonus, because that's the one thing. I can work it out, but it does take me a long time to work out.
And there's human error as well that can creep
Yeah, of
into
course
these.
there is. And it's a computer program and should never ever be wrong unless you've put the information in wrong.
Gay says, hi Natasha, I haven't received my block of the month yet. They're on their way. They are
They
on
are
their way.
they were posted on Monday, but
They are in the hands
we were
of
delayed slightly with
the post
the
office.
fabric situation, and then the post office situation is what it is. We all know what the post office situation is. We're just, we're very grateful for them to continue as they are doing in this crazy time. Where would we be without them? We wouldn't be able to get our books or our parcels or anything.
As frustrated as we get, I think we do have to give them a bit of a round of applause for sticking with it.
I was going to say, they're one of those services that have just carried on the best they can in the situation that we're in. Our post, we've got a post lady, and she's lovely. She has treats in her pocket for the dogs. Every dog that she goes to knows she's coming.
Yeah, so does Mikey.
And waits. When our old dog, she was the only person he never barked at, because he knew that she was going to give him a treat when she came. Everybody else was like savaged through the letterbox.
Now April says, I have to admit that I've had EQ7 for a couple of years now, but haven't yet taken it out of the box. Need more time to play. April, do you know what? I would have been you if I hadn't have had, and this is sometimes where having show deadlines is really good for me.
This is it, because it makes you do things. I would never have probably quilted a quilt for myself if I hadn't had to get one finished for a show.
It does, because everyone says to me, "Oh, you're so productive, Natasha." It's none of that. No, I like to sit on the sofa and eat biscuits as much as the next person. Yeah. But at the end of the day, shows don't wait.
They don't.
They just don't wait.
No.
So April, I would have been you, because the other thing is that technology really scares me, and I don't actually know how to upload these things. But I did it all by myself. So I was really pleased with myself. I had to, because I did it at 4 o'clock this morning. Everyone else was asleep. So it was sink or swim. I left it right till the last minute.
EQ are really good as well. On their program, they've got lessons on there, so you can click on. There's all tabs at the top of the program, and you can tab on the lesson, and it takes you through from very beginning all the way through. So I have put a triangle on opposite sides of the square, and I'm going to press those up and away from the square.
Okay. Lorraine says, Starter Savvy is sold out. Will you be getting any more? Yes, why not? In fact, I'm not sure if I've already ordered some more. I might have. If not, I will. So just hold fire. Lorraine, I'll get you some. Don't you worry. Claire said, I was most productive with my homework on the 45-minute bus ride to school. Deadlines, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deadlines. Everything gets done. And it is a recognised thing that you can have as much time as you like. You'll get it done in the last hour.
Yeah. I think there's probably some psychological theory name for it. And we're going to press
it's called
the
seat of your pants, Jane.
We're going to do the same. There's a lovely feeling though, isn't there, when you get something done and you've got plenty of time. But I don't know about you. If I've got time,
well, then
I start
fiddle with
looking and fiddling and messing around with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's done, leave it be.
Lo says, I love Popo Pats. I think she means Postman Pat. It took me a while to work out what she was talking about. But Popo Pats. Actually, do you know what? When Freddie was little, that was the only thing that would get him back off to sleep if he woke up in the night. Postman Pat, the movie. It had to be the movie.
Oh, he's all changed. He's got helicopter deliveries and all sorts going on.
I know. And he can still only manage to deliver one thing a day. No wonder the Royal Mail are in trouble.
It's too busy saving people.
Well, you know, he only had one delivery. It's always late.
So
And yet
we're
everyone
pinching
loves him.
again. We've folded the square in half again because now we're going to do the opposite sides. So we're pinching again. We've pinched the square in half and we're pinching the triangles in half so we can line those up. Takes a while, but it's worth doing it, and then you know that your square is going to be your triangles are going to be central to your square, so you'll get your good seam allowance.
It's quite therapeutic, isn't
And
it?
it's quite a quick block to make this one, but because it's essentially just two different little units with a square in the middle.
I mean, to be fair, that's just as well because I had quite a lot of half-meter heaven going on.
Gorgeousness.
Not going to lie, but that was yesterday morning between the hours of 4 and 6 spent going, oh, what colour shall I do this? What colour shall I do that?
Nice time to do it. And of course the mornings are getting lighter, which is lovely.
It's really lovely.
It's almost light when I set off in the morning now.
If you'd have told me in my life that I would end up getting up at stupid o'clock to do stuff, I would have gone, what? But I really treasure those hours in the morning now.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I think you
Yeah.
get so much done, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
And I know that you go to bed early as well,
Yeah.
so you get your sleep, so you're refreshed and your mind's clear and you're just full of creative ideas.
And it's not going to be forever, that's the thing,
No.
because I know I put the kids to bed with a bedtime story, bath, book and bed, and I was falling asleep hanging out with them while they went off to sleep anyway. And it's just pointless doing that thing of then waking up, getting up for a couple of hours and then trying to go back to sleep.
Yeah, and also you're probably too tired after a busy day with children and everything else to then start again once they've gone to sleep. So it's a good idea, I think, for you to get your sleep at more or less the same time as them.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. We were talking about this the other day,
Yeah.
weren't we? And I'll work through the night type of person. Not a very good morning person, to be honest.
It's all right. We just give you coffee.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Just
I
avoid me
think
until I've had a cup of coffee.
I'm still living with the thing of sleep when your baby sleeps.
Yeah.
Does it matter that she's 2? Goes to bed at
If it
7
works
o'clock.
for you, that's good.
Helen says, not fabric later, but what GSM is the card you print on, as I need some more for printing my patterns? It is, gosh, I ordered some more of it today. It depends which one. I fluctuate between 2, but I think I've settled now on the one that I like the best. Because we had a time, didn't we, where the photocopier didn't want to play because it was a bit too cold, and it had to have time to heat up in the morning, warm up.
The only piece of equipment I know that gets its own heater.
Its own heater, like its own blanket.
It's not temperamental at all.
No.
Great piece of professional industrial machinery, and it's like, it's not working because it's cold.
Do you remember when they told me that I had to keep my paper somewhere else warm?
Yes. It doesn't like it because the paper's cold, and we were like, what?
What? Yeah, that wasn't my favourite excuse that I've ever heard. All good fun though.
So we've sewn those on the opposite sides now, and then we're pressing them away from the square and literally just pressing them because we have got a biased edge, so we don't want to distort them. But you can see that makes a nice square. Some of mine, because I've been talking and not concentrating, are not lined up in the middle, but I've still got a seam allowance, so I won't worry too much.
Okay then.
As long as you've got more, an 1/8 or more, you're okay.
Right.
That's how it should look with the perfect 1/4 inch round.
Beautiful.
This one's slightly off, but we won't worry about it.
So do you need to trim them back?
You can if you want to, and if you want to trim them. You know, your creative grid's got its lovely 1/4 inch guide on it on the one side. Just make sure that your line goes from one point to the next, so that you know you're in the middle there, and again you've got a line that goes from point to point here, so that you know you're centralised before you start trimming it off. So I could trim that down and just it's literally taking the ears off really on that side. But you could do that
painful.
if it you know, helps you make sure that you've got it all right. Just don't trim it back to the edge of the square, because then you'll have lost your seam allowance and you'll lose the points of your square.
Yeah, don't do that. Do not do that. Ali B says, in the office doing VAT deadlines. All the chaps are in the fields doing spring works. No one asking for coffee or tea or buns. You see, that means you can get stuff. You can get stuff done then, can't you?
Yes.
Crack on. And Lo says, working early morning, make sure you don't have to deal with idiots. I find they only come awake after 9:30. What they do in my office.
Brilliant.
Yep, Susan's doing VAT deadlines as well. Have I got a VAT deadline? Where's my VAT deadline? Oh no.
I think you've got someone that does it for you, haven't you?
Yeah,
someone that sorts that sort of thing out for you.
I'm not going to worry about that.
So we've got 4 of those squares. Some of them one of them trimmed off, the others not. Again, you know what you're like. You know whether you feel that you can work better if you have all your ears and everything trimmed off and it's nice and neat. It doesn't bother me. I'm quite happy to have those extra bits floating around.
Ears.
Having your ears, yeah. And then we've got 2 squares, and we've got 2 squares of fabric. Am I saying N? No, I'm saying fabric H. And then we've got the same size square of white and the same size of fabric L. This is the one that we've been waiting for. It finally arrived, and I was like, yay! But it's very difficult to tell which is the right and the wrong side of it because it's so pale. Right, so we're going to mark on the fabric L and the fabric A a diagonal line.
Really, that pale one, is that what all the fuss has been about?
That's what all the fuss about. Just that one square, just like...
So all of the reason that block 4... I don't wish to shame this fabric, but however...
Don't listen, it's fine.
The reason that we're doing block 4 when we should have been doing a different block...
Block 7 today, I think we should have been doing.
Is because of this fabric.
Yeah.
Just so that everyone knows. Yes, Colette, I will get some chalk pencil refills. I will do that very thing. Now you see Karen...
So we're putting these right sides together with the fabric H square. So we've got a white one with fabric H and a fabric L with fabric H square.
Oh, is this where you do that clever thing of lots of things in one go?
Yeah, we're going to make half. We're going to do the 1/4 square block, but as you can see, we've got L on the inside and the background white on the outside. So we're going to make half square triangles, and then we're going to make them into 1/4 square triangles.
Clever.
So this is the last block within the quilt. When we've done this one, and you need to make 4 of these, when we've done this one, we should have 7 different blocks. And then next month we'll talk about putting it together and putting the borders on. Now I don't know whether you want to just leave it at that for next month and then the month after talk about the quilting and the binding, or whether you want to incorporate the whole thing into the one show. Don't know what you think.
Oh, me?
Yes. You're the boss.
Well, no, I thought we were asking the audience.
Well,
sorry.
We can ask the audience.
Let's
as well.
ask the audience, because I'm just one person. What do I know? What do you want, guys? Do you want to do?
So I'm just sewing 1/4 inch either side of that marked line on both of those.
I'm sure someone will say what they want any minute now. Well, do we know how Val is? Is Val on here? Broken leg Val? Is she on this morning? Jemmy, you can't have some of the Brandon Mabley backing. Step away from Brandon's brocade. I'm going to call that Brandon's brilliant brocade.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It is rather fabulous. I've been trying very long to get that in. Now, you see, Karen says that I'm early in bed before midnight, which comes in handy for Half Me to Heavens. Well, yeah, because I wondered how you always managed to get the one.
Yeah, she's
one.
fastest finger first,
Yeah,
isn't
she is, absolutely. And wide awake at 5:30. You see, then you get a lot done.
Yeah, she is obviously one of these people that can manage on less than
And still
6
look
hours
fabulous.
sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't get at least 7 hours of sleep, I'm like,
Ooh. Are you like a grumpy
bad
bear?
enough anyway. Right, so we're going to press these now. We're going to press them towards the dark fabric. So they've got half square triangles. So, and again, just literally pressing them because we don't want to stretch the fabric because it's a biased edge.
Spritz, 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 spritz. That's on my list. Hang on. That's on my list. Oh, 2 shows, please, says Karen.
Okay.
There we go.
I think we could spend a little bit more time then on the quilting and the binding and everything. I know we've done binding before, but it's always nice to have a refresh, isn't it, of
Yeah,
binding.
yeah. Lo says that her work phone went. She missed the question. So, yes, absolutely. She wants to lose 3 stone in 20 days by eating cake and drinking gin. Don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah.
It's the perfect... Hang on, you're the hypnotist. Can't you make that happen for us? And Lorraine says, all of it, if there's time, not rushed.
Okay.
And Joanna thinks 2 shows would be better.
Yeah, I think it'll give us a little bit more time to talk about seam matching, where the blocks go, and then how you get your borders on.
And let's
I
be
will
honest,
only have half a quilt made. I'm going to warn you now. I'll have half a quilt made, but we'll talk about the whole thing. Right, so we've got a half square triangle with the pale blue and the dark blue, and then one with white and dark blue. And we're going to place these right sides together now with the dark blue against the white and the pale blue against the dark. Okay, and we'll do that with both of those. And then we're going to mark the diagonal line, corner to corner, opposite to the seam.
Right.
So
Oh,
the
gosh,
seam
thank you,
goes
Sonia.
horizontally and we're going to mark vertically.
Karen just doesn't want it all to end. It's not going to all end.
We've got another one.
We've
up
got
our
another one
sleeve.
brewing, haven't we?
Yes.
Will I
Somebody's
be...
got to get on and get it made. It's an idea. It's designed.
Is it on the EQ7?
Yeah, it's all
Amazing.
designed. And we're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of this line again now.
Barbara says, Natasha, will you be selling Storm at Sea fabric for those of us who have made mistakes?
We've got a little bit of the fabric left over. We haven't got all of the fabrics. We've got some of the fabrics.
Did we order more of the fabrics?
We've ordered more so that we've got enough for borders and for the borders and everything. But we've got what's left over from what we originally ordered. So there's a couple of bolts of some, but some of them have only got like a partial bolt left.
So we could do some fat quarters and things for people. And
Yes.
will I have wadding and backing fabric for this quilt? Joanna, I have ordered, and actually I will send a little message now whilst I remember. I've ordered the most beautiful backing fabrics for this.
It is a big quilt, but you can get, well, we know we can get 108 wide, can't we, fabrics, which would be perfect. So I've now sewn 1/4 inch either side of those marked lines, and then we're going to cut that on the marked line, across that diagonal that we marked.
Oh, no, wrong one.
Are we there? Ooh,
Yeah, there we go. That's
There
the
we
monkey.
are. So we're going to just do that. There we are. And that gives us our 1/4 square triangle. And we can do our twiddly little bit on the seam where we just unpick those 2 stitches, or there might even only be one, up to that seam that we've just made. And then when we press it, just press it open. and then we can just press that. So
Oh,
one
nice.
seam goes one way and one goes the other.
So twiddly widdly diddly bit.
Yeah, just that, you know, I like to do that little twiddle. Should we go close up on that?
Oh, yeah. There you
Just
go.
so you can see.
Oh, yeah, the secret
Yeah.
patch at the back.
It just helps it less bulk in the middle and just helps it to lie flatter when you're quilting.
Karen, yes, indeed, there will be beautiful things to follow. Jane wants to follow?
We're going to do a smaller quilt, and again, different blocks which create another pattern. So similar, sort of, not the same, but similar to this one, but smaller, and a few different techniques in there to take us to the end of the year. And then next year I've got a little plan up my sleeve, and again it's only written on paper form, and I must get myself organised and get that started.
It's all good.
But
It's all happening.
we're going to do something else next year that will take us through the whole year, is my plan.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that idea. Geraldine, hello. It's all right. Don't worry about being late. You can watch it again. Yeah, Margaret says, yeah, you've got to have that stitchy witchy twiddle in the middle.
It just helps. It does help. Somebody messaged me and said, "You've changed my life." I was like, "Really?"
It's nice
It
to have
is
that.
lovely. It's lovely to have that feedback. It's great. Right. So then we've got a square, 4.5 inch square of the middle, which is the fabric that we're using in the border. So periodically in the blocks, I've taken that border fabric and brought it into the middle of the quilt, just so that it sort of brings the whole thing together. We're going to make sure when we put this, we're working on a 9 patch again, so we sew in rows, and then we sew the rows together. So we work with a square in a square block, quarter square triangle, another square in a square block, making sure that the pale blue, fabric P, is against the middle square. And the same with the side ones, 2 quarter square triangle blocks, but the middle square needs to be, the pale blue needs to be against the middle square.
I mean, we've waited long enough for it.
Yes.
Let's make it
This
a star.
just makes it look like that's sitting within a square then, you see, so it all comes together.
It's very clever. It's very clever. Oh, Naomi P says, I made my first bib yesterday and I love it. The bamboo toweling is gorgeous and very soft.
So when you come to put your square within a square together, you've got an X marks the spot type thing.
Up,
so
Jane.
make sure you're within your seam allowance. So we've got the 2 seam lines coming here. So when you come to bring your seam across there, you just want your seam line just to sit just above that so that you don't lose the point of your square. It's just a little reference point, so when you're sewing you can be sure that you're in the right place.
It's those little hints and tips, isn't it, that makes all
Yeah,
the
it just
difference.
helps. And I know, you know, when you're first doing patchwork, it's all these little things that you don't know because you don't know them, but they all help, and it just makes life a little bit easier. If you've got Chris, my teacher, used to say to me, sew on the side with the most information, meaning the one that's got the most seams, really, so you can see where you're going and you've got little reference points like that so that you know that you're in the right place.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like knowing that one with the log cabin, isn't it? Where you sew, once you've gone round once, you sew with the side with 2 seams. That's those sort of things like that you don't.
You haven't forgotten that, have you?
No, you never
that's
forget
stuck with
that.
you
Once
now.
you're told something like that, and you're like, oh right. So it doesn't matter which way round you go. You can go clockwise or you can go anti-clockwise, as long as you know you're always going to carry on going the same way if you remember that 2 seam rule.
Ali says she's going to make something from her many mistakes. At the moment, it's a very large cushion cover. It might be a lap quilt, Ali. I mean, that's your other option.
Yeah, and you only know the mistakes.
Yeah,
They're
nobody else does.
They're design features for anybody else. It's just a little quirky block that you've designed.
that just happen to look like this.
Yeah.
Myra is using us as her calendar, which is fine. Otherwise, she doesn't know what day it is.
I mean, if you're looking back in January, I think, was it January that we did it the second week of the month? One of the months we had to take it back, didn't we? Because
No,
something
I mean,
happened.
we're giving her days of the week. Jane.
Yeah.
I don't think she's even worried about the actual date. She's
just got a good
satisfied as to whether or not it's Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. That must have thrown you last week when we had Joe on a Friday. That's very confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well done to those that managed to get the batting seam tape. They were very popular. Does that mean they've gone already, PT? Oh my goodness.
I think you'll have to get some more. They're really good. It's a really handy thing to have.
It's not always easy to get hold of.
No.
Geraldine says, great tip, Jane. I'm remembering that. So on the busy side.
Yeah, it does help. You've just got little reference points that you can follow then. And if you've got triangles and you don't want to sew across the point of it, if you're sewing on the side where the seams crisscross, you've got, as I say, that little X marks the spot type of reference point.
Yep, Susan says that she's going to have a quilt full of additional design features. But that's what makes it personal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's your quilt, your way. I'm going to press this so that the seams go into the middle square, and on these ones go out towards those square within a square. They don't like it because there's a little bit of a bulky seam there, but they will go.
You're going to make them, Jane.
They'll do as they're told eventually, but they really do want. They do want
Sounds
to go.
like my children.
They do want to go in, but it just makes life a little bit easier for you when you're joining your rows together. If you've got the seams going in opposite directions from the middle, it doesn't matter which way you go. But I always like to press my seams to the fabric with the least amount of bulk under it.
That's fair enough.
And the middle one is the better one on there. So when you come to put your rows together again, just double check that you've got your fabric P against your fabric B, just because it's so easy just to get one of them the wrong way round, and with it being so pale,
hang on.
you might not necessarily notice that.
It's sticking. There we go.
So you can see there. First instance, you might not necessarily notice that you've got the wrong one there, but just make sure that you've got your P against your B on all of them. And
Elizabeth says my whole life revolves around Natasha Makes now. The rest of the week is boring.
Oh, bless.
I'm at her channel tomorrow, if that helps. I've got 3 shows there tomorrow. Donna's the same. Oh my goodness me.
It's lovely, isn't it, that we're keeping people company? I mean,
but they keep us company too,
they
though,
do,
Jane.
don't they?
And I know, like, on shopping channels, you can sometimes get told off for chatting too much, which is really hard for me because I like a good chat.
We like a good chat.
You might have noticed. So the only compromise that I could possibly come up with was to have a show that didn't matter about timings. Yeah. We can chat and make stuff.
That's right, and that's best of everything, really.
That meant I could have everything.
Fabric chat.
Very much a believer that you can have it all.
Yeah.
So we did. And
Why
that was
not?
that.
Why not?
I mean, where it takes us is another matter. We've had some quite random conversations.
We do. But isn't that fun? You know, life's a bit serious at the moment anyway, so if we can make it a little bit lighter for everybody, then why not?
Well, yeah, apart from I was on the phone to my mum yesterday saying, I'm not sure if Freddie's given me good show content, Mum, but the ducks have started producing eggs.
Yes.
Yeah, so you know where this conversation's going, don't you? So can we get the incubator out and get some ducklings?
Oh.
Yeah. So this is where the conversation starts to go. Can we get the incubator out and start and make some ducklings? Right, yeah. So why didn't they work last time? Well, the eggs obviously weren't fertilised. What does that mean? It means you need a drake. Why do you need a drake?
Oh, here we go. It's that conversation again, isn't it?
It's that conversation again. I'm like, well, yeah. So the drake will, gives the seed to the egg.
Cool.
So did you need a seed for everything? I'm like, oh no. 10 minutes until you have to leave the house for school.
Yeah.
And we're on this one.
We're on to biology lesson.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to change
The
my
conversation took a slightly unusual turn. And I think I'm going to have to get the books out because Freddie now, I don't know quite how it went so wrong, but he now thinks that the seeds fly into Mummy. I don't know how. And before I could put him right, he started saying, so how come birds can fly and we can't? So I've now got one very confused 7-year-old, and I'm more confused because I don't know quite how the conversation went that way, and it wasn't what I said, but it was how it was taken the wrong way. And I'm like, oh no.
A 7-year-old's mind works on a different level, doesn't it?
Oh man. So the book's going to have to come out. Diane just heard ducklings. She got as far as ducklings and went, oh, so exciting. Yeah, well, yeah.
You haven't got drakes, though, have you? Have you?
Two.
Oh, you have. So
yeah.
you could incubate them then.
I could incubate them and have all of those conversations all over again.
Just check the bobbins in properly. We're just having a little moment with the stitching here. I don't know what's going on. It's just decided it's going to not stitch, which is always helpful. Nice.
Oh, I love a day like that.
There we go.
Oh,
So
Geraldine made some face wipes with some of the bamboo toweling.
Yes.
And some makeup remover pads. Do you know, they are the best.
It's a brilliant way to use it.
Yeah. What I thought I might do is sort of a compendium of ways to use bamboo, like hair wrap towels, hair towel wraps.
Brilliant idea.
And face thingies and anything else that we can think of. Yeah, Karen says, gets it out of the way early, Natasha. Yeah, but it's gone horribly wrong, Karen, because he asked me if I ate the seed that made Emily. I'm like, no, doesn't go in that way. So it flies in. No, not quite either.
It's so difficult, isn't it, at that age as well, to know how anatomically correct you can be without frightening them.
Without scarring them for life.
Frightening yourself.
So basically, if anybody else wants to get that conversation out of the way, you could FaceTime Freddie, and because I did a very bad job.
And there we go.
That is a far better job than I did of anything, Jane, to be honest. That's brilliant.
So if you were to make a quilt just with this block, you could have...
That'd be lovely.
Another, you've got another pattern going on there, haven't you?
Yeah.
If you put them on point...
Oh, steady.
Like this.
Oh, nice.
You get this sort of... You'd get that sort of checkered effect going on. Like that. You get a shape. So yeah, it's a lovely block, and it could, it's quite a versatile one. You could have opposite colours, different in your square there. You can do all sorts of things with it, really. So there you go. That's the block. That's block 4.
Yay!
So next month we'll talk about putting it together, and we'll talk about putting your borders on.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Jane, you've done a cracking job. Lisa's just messaged and said, do you really want another teal? I'm like, yeah, 2 more, please, Lisa. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. We need at least 2 more teals, don't we?
Yeah.
Margaret says, my great auntie Nellie always set ducks underneath a broody hen. My mum would normally provide the broody hen, but she's a bit hens are much better at being mothers until the ducklings take to the pond and they get a bit upset. Yeah, I used to raise them myself. Hence, do you see that photo I put of me on Facebook?
Yes.
When I was 7 and basically nothing has changed. Donna says that she doesn't think she did a good job with that conversation either because she now has 11 grandchildren and number 12 is on the way. Well,
maybe
you did it very well, you know.
Very well explained it perfectly.
And you didn't put them off for life, and that's fine, you know.
Isaac, our eldest, he'll help me for telling you this story, but he was at school and they did the sex education lesson. And I said to Glenn, my husband, I said, just go and say to him if he needs to, you know, if he's worried about anything or if he needs anything, you know, he can ask us. It's fine. We don't mind talking about it. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Putting the onus on Glenn. Because I thought, man to man.
Because that's not awkward for them at all.
Glenn thought this was a good idea and he did. And he went and talked to him and he came back and he was laughing. And I said, what are you laughing at? And he said, it's so funny. I said, you know, if you've got any worries or you're not sure about things and you want to ask, don't be frightened. And he said to Glenn, he was about 7 at the time, he said, it's all right for you, Dad. We've got 2 children. It's all right for you, Dad. You've done it twice.
Just the twice.
Just the twice, because we've got 2 children.
Very logical.
Yeah.
Very logical.
They tell them that's how babies are made.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
Forget it, bro.
Yeah. No, that's it.
Do it
Just
and you have
twice.
a baby.
Yeah. Done that now. Tick that off the list. Or 11 times for Donna's. You know, that's fine.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. On a different note, Grace said, love this block. A quilt of these would be fab.
It would. Lovely. It reminds me a little bit of a tiled floor.
Oh yes, a Victorian tiled floor.
Where I live is near to Stoke-on-Trent, and there's a lot of the tiled floors in shops and places. Beautiful. Because they did all those tiles. And there's some Josh's school had a beautiful tiled floor that was all like sawtooth stars and everything. You look at it and you're like, that's a patchwork pattern waiting to happen.
If ever I saw one.
There is a designer, and her name's gone out of my head, but she's brought a whole collection of books out based on tiled floors.
Oh wow.
And she says she goes to these churches and cathedrals and places and everybody else is taking pictures of the stained glass and all the beautiful, and she's just like taking pictures of floors. So the husband's got used to her now, but at first it was a bit like, what are you doing?
Weirdo.
And I do it. If I see a nice floor, you know, and I'll think, it could be a patch or a quilt design sometimes. Wrought iron gates give you ideas for quilt designs. Beautiful.
Yeah. Jane says that she's still waiting for a second grandson to arrive. So busy watching Natasha and making bibs from the Michael Miller fabric. She's had fun fussy cutting out the animals. Oh, gorgeous. And also Ali B. Barton, Ali B. Yeah. You asked for foxes. I've got foxes. We've got fox fabric.
We've got some gorgeous fabric.
I've also got some brushed cotton with foxes on.
That's a bit luscious.
And also we are waiting for a whole range of organic cotton baby fabric because so many of you are now expecting.
Yeah,
it's a baby boom, isn't it? It's the lockdown baby boom.
Baby boom. And we're going to I think I'm going to come up with a pattern to do a little baby quilt with that fabric, which will be nice. Good fun for me, nice for you.
and organic.
Yes,
as
lovely,
well.
Which is always nice to have.
So we'll keep, I'll have to check the stock of the bamboo. I can always load some more for you, but it is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? And I tell you what it looks lovely with, and that is the Jane Austen.
Yes, it's really nice with that.
Yeah.
Especially the ivory one.
Wow.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah. Karen says, I think at that point in the conversation, I would have handed him over to his dad. Yeah, well, that would have been a very good idea. Yeah. Myra says, come on, Lisa, we're dying here. Get your act together and send more patterns, please. Oh, I've got the patterns. I just need the fabric to match with the patterns. Yeah. Gay says, can you not get enough of the border fabric to be able to use it for the backing if wanted?
It's not wide enough. You'd need a heck of a lot because you'd have to join it in the middle. It would work out more economical for you to get extra wide fabric.
And
because it's such a big quilt.
Got it covered.
And I think Natasha's on it.
Yeah. Hang on. I'm not sure I can read out Gemma's message. You'll have to read it in the comments.
Okay.
Geraldine said, I practiced first, then had 2 successes. A son and a daughter. I mean, this is it. We're all friends. It's fine.
Yeah.
And Claire said that's exactly what she thought too. There were 2 of us. She said, my brother and I, twice. That's all you need.
Yeah. It is.
But that you're so right. I'd never thought of it like that. That's what they're told.
Children,
That's
they're
it.
told
Yeah.
that's how babies are made, and they think that's what happens. And
Yeah.
it's, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was pregnant with my first one, and they told me he was due on the 23rd of March, I thought that was when he was coming. I didn't think that he might decide he was coming 6 weeks earlier than that, and
Oh my goodness.
and you know, I thought they gave you that date, and that was the date your
That was the
baby
one.
came.
No. Freddie was very Cornish about his
It's
arrival.
very laid back, isn't
Yeah,
it?
he'll be along
I
directly.
don't know what Isaac was thinking, because he came in a big rush hurry, but he's not like that in life. He's very laid back.
Oh, Susan says a baby quilt with organic cotton would be good. I know someone who's just had a little girl. I think we all know someone.
Yes, I think
Right now.
it's like we're saying, aren't we? It's a baby boom at the moment, which is nice, isn't it? It's nice for us to have nice news, good news.
Well, I think that's been the only upside, isn't it,
Yeah.
of all of this, is
Yeah.
suddenly, really treasuring these babies. Elizabeth says, Jane, you're too efficient. It's only 11:13. I'm going to have to go and pack again now.
We've whizzed through that one. Oh, I can show you what we're doing next week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Karen, we stock Alistair's extra wide fabrics. We stock some of them here, and we also have our own extra wide as
Yes.
well. And we are
Again, then...
hold fire, because I've ordered some really beautiful ones in
yeah,
to go with this colouring. So just
although
hang
that's
fire.
extra wide, it's still not wide enough. It is a big quilt. You are going to need your 108 wide fabric for the
So-
backing if you want it in one piece. If you don't mind piecing it, but your extra wide is more expensive, but because you'll only need like 2.5 meters of it, it works out cheaper than buying 5 meters of another one.
Yeah.
And it's funny how it works, but it does work out.
So I have ordered a lot. I've just texted to find out when they're coming in, but I've ordered colours that are going to go with the front
Yes.
as well. So
That's always nice.
if
to
you
have
want to
something
shop
that matches.
ahead, then do, but just hang fire, because I have...
Natasha's on it.
we do think these things
Are you
through.
surprised?
And so yeah, just hold fire. If you do want quilt backings, of course, we do the extra
Yes,
wide
we
ones.
do the extra wide, which for your average quilt, you throw and all that size is perfect. Just I went a bit mad with that one.
And when we run out of the House of Alistair ones, I have got a new source for so many more colours of extra wide
Yeah.
backing, and they are
And
beautiful quality.
The
cotton.
extra wide that we've got at the moment is like plain colours, which is perfect, because particularly like the white one we've got, because if you're doing a quilt with a lot of white in the background, get the extra wide, because you won't need as much. You buying that by the metre gives you more fabric,
Yeah.
which is always helpful. So this is what we're going to do, curve piecing next week. Dum dum dum. But Drunkard's Path is the traditional box. It's still got pins in because I'm still quilting it.
Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. If you spin it around the other way. Oh, yeah. No, hold it up and then we can spin it around. Go on then. Hold it. Yay! I love this one.
So I was sort of thinking a bit spring-like, something that's a little bit different to a traditional curved piece block, which is Drunkard Path, generally speaking. So I went with that, and I thought that's a nice little wall hanging, isn't it, really? It's not too big. It's just
I know,
nice.
it's gorgeous.
And curve piecing it's a bit fiddly in preparation wise, but generally speaking, it's quite easy to do. It's not too difficult. So
Perfect.
yeah, still got pins in because I'm still quilting it, but that's what we're aiming towards
Good job.
next week.
Good job. Good job. I was thinking about the block that you did today,
Yes.
and I would possibly, if I was going to do it just into a lap quilt or something like that, I might
Add sashing.
fussy cut in the middle.
Oh yes.
Like a cave floral, one of the big
Yeah,
florals into the middle.
definitely.
And, have
And
it
you
like a
could
double flower.
you could also add sashing between the blocks, which would give you another effect. Maybe make little, I don't know, there's all sorts of things you can do. This is the beauty of what we're doing. We show you the block and then we'll give you ideas of what else you can do with them. Because they're so versatile. And again, you could fussy cut these squares with things if you wanted to as well.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Yeah. Elizabeth says, what weight and feel are the extra wide for dressmaking? Quilting fabric feels nice yet and more narrow. So the extra wide, that we've got two different types. The Cafe, the Brandon Mabley brocade, Brandon's brocade, it's a
heavier weight. I mean, it is a
It's
cotton.
a mercerized cotton.
Yeah.
But it's heavier weight.
It's not upholstery weight because it's not that heavy, but it's sort of in between. It's a heavier weight than your quilting cotton. So you could make clothing out of it, but it would be a bit stiff. Might soften up with washing, but
the extra wide cotton, the 56-inch cotton, is perfect for your PJs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's what I've used for PJs and things.
Yeah, that one is. Yeah, definitely. It's lovely and soft.
But then if you also, Elizabeth, we've got a whole load of jerseys as well, beautiful jerseys that are
they're
just
really lovely.
Gorgeous.
They're really soft and luxurious, those jerseys.
Yeah. And Myra says, ooh, I need that thin bias binding for my granddaughter's quilt, going Celtic pattern.
Ooh. This? It's not bias, it's just straight because it's a straight line. But, you can use it. I mean, it's just a little bit of a flange of fabric. It's not narrow binding, but you could make narrow.
Is it a flange?
Yeah.
Oh, Jane.
A bit of a flange going on in there, just because I didn't want to lose the effect of the pattern. So I decided if I wanted to put a piece in there, it needed to be actually in the fabric rather.
Genius.
I mean, so it just...
Genius. Oh, she's clever. Oh, she's clever. Right, you lovely lot. I'm going to get back onto the computer and learn this here program. I'll have designed about 20 quilts by tomorrow.
You will have.
And then be really frustrated because I haven't made them all.
Yeah. And it'll come to time and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I've got to go to work. And you'll be like, oh, I just want to make more quilts.
I know. I feel like I've done nothing this morning and yet quite a lot of quilts have been designed.
You've been learning as you've been doing it though. It's very difficult, isn't it, to equate something that you love doing and you're totally absorbed in with work. Yeah. Because I think we think work's got to be hard and difficult.
Geraldine says, what's a flange, please? A flange
is... It's just when it's like Jane, sitting on the top. That's not fixed down. So it's like a faux piping in a way, but it's a bit deeper than piping. So I've just folded the fabric and put it in the seam. So it's sitting independently from the quilt.
Had a very funny show on Hochanda with lovely Rachel presenting, and I did a cushion with a flange and she thought I'd said a really rude word. And
those words.
Yeah. And so she absolutely corpsed and could not stop laughing, and then she put together a montage because she couldn't say it properly. That was the other thing. She didn't dare because she kept thinking she was going to be marched out the building and sacked. And so I'll see if I can find it because our flange went viral. That's all I can say.
Brilliant.
And on that happy note, Fiona says, frustrated that EQ programs don't work with Mac systems yet. Well, it gave me the option of downloading it onto a PC or a Mac this morning.
Yeah,
the EQ8 one
EQ8 works. I know my EQ7 was on a disc and I had to load it on the disc into my laptop, but now it's done with a code, isn't it, that you put into it, and it does it for both Mac and laptop, whatever it's called. What's it called when it's not a Mac?
PC.
A PC.
The thing that we don't manage to be very much. Oh, Jane, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I've had a lovely morning. Thank you, all lovely people. I think I'm on Hochanda tomorrow at 10 and 1 maybe.
Yeah, it's a long day for you.
I'm going to, I'm basically going to do the bag designs that I did on yesterday's show again. So if you want to watch those again, it's a show for a supplier and there's some very pretty Dina Designs fabric.
We're loving Dina Designs at the moment.
We are, absolutely. I was very happy when they sent that my way. I was like, all right, yes. And if you want to watch and have a look at the EQ8.
I've just seen this Tula fabric against this backing.
I know. Do you know what? Gemma said exactly the same.
Look at that. Oh my gosh, there's a quilt all in one go. You've got your front and your back. Boom.
You know when you sometimes see something and go,
yes.
is
Ooh,
that
I
wrong
like
or
it.
is that very, very right?
Look at that.
I know.
Those lilacs just pull that pink. That's because that's a really rich fuchsia,
Could you
zoomy
imagine
pink, and it just
having that as your backing fabric and folding the quilt back
it's just gorgeous.
onto those purples and being like, yes.
You could make a very sort of simple rail fence design with this fabric, and then you could put that on the back, and you could use the backing for your quilt pattern, so you could follow this shape
Clever thing.
as your quilt pattern. So if you quilted it from the back, and then you'd have a lovely quilt pattern on the front. I love things like that. Look at that, it's gorgeous. Lovely.
Perfect. Perfect.
You see, I want to make something with this.
Yes, I can see you stroking it. I will be frisking you when you leave.
Oh, no.
From a socially acceptable distance.
Yes.
I'll get my litter pickers out.
Have you seen the bag?
Freddie was like, "What is this, Mummy?" It's like, "It's my litter picker." Why do you have a litter picker? So that I can get the socks out the back of when they fall down the back of the tumble dryer. I've got a long litter picker so I can pick up everything that falls down the back.
My mum had a litter picker to pick up her bits of fabric off the floor.
I don't blame you.
No.
I had a friend that had a car that drives on the other way.
Yeah, left-handed.
And that's it. And we all had car parking passes to get into the lake where we used to wakeboard and water ski. And instead of getting out, he used to just wind down his window, put his pass card in his litter picker,
Brilliant
and
idea.
post it in from that way. Yeah.
Brilliant idea.
Well, on that happy note, I will see you all tomorrow. Jane will see us all next Wednesday with her beautiful quilt.
Well,
And I'll see you back here on Natasha Makes on Monday. Keep an eye out for the newsletters to know what is coming, because if the deliveries come that are meant to come, it could be a big one next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is all I'm going to say.
Lovely.
Alrighty, you lot, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.